Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. We talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm Roche Jeffrey. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. Had to do an emergency live stream for a big coaching move in college football. The biggest domino you could potentially say to fall, whether you say it or not. James Franklin is off the board. There's going to be other big coaching moves that are made, obviously, to other jobs at LSU and at Florida. But James Franklin, he was the big name out there, the fired coach at Penn State. We knew he was going to get another job. We knew that some other program was going to hire him, especially when we found out that Penn State had that clause in there where it's like, oh, we're not paying the full buyout. James Franklin, you were going to get another job, so we don't have to pay the entire buyout. Now Penn State's going from having to pay James Franklin $50 million to now, as I think I saw, it's $9 million. So it is a big-time drop. Big-time drop and buyout money that Penn State is going to have to pay. So that's big for them. But yeah, James Franklin is off the board. As you can see on the screen where he's going, I've got the meme from SpongeBob finally, because he's been in talks for a long time. James Franklin is going to Virginia Tech. And I've been saying this for a long time, even before the in talks were being said, which I was getting a little worried for Virginia Tech because they were supposedly in talks for a while. And I'm just kind of like, hey, what's going on here? Why are they not like finalizing this thing? Because the longer stuff goes on, maybe James Franklin was looking at other jobs, maybe some other schools were looking at James Franklin. But to me, the other big jobs that are available right now, LSU, Florida, Auburn, none of those places made sense for James Franklin. Yeah, he was at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was in the SEC. But it just did not seem like James Franklin would fit at those schools. And Virginia Tech is a good football program. Obviously, they are not a blue blood football program, and they're not a team that, is in the upper echelon of college football. But they are a solid program. And they are a program that, even as short as 10 years ago, was nationally relevant. Obviously beat Ohio State in 2014. They're a program that even as short as like 6-7 years ago was ranked consistently. But before that, obviously in the Michael Vick, Tyrod Taylor era, the years back in the 2000s, the 90s, Frank Beamer, obviously Shane Beamer's dad, well known for his success at Virginia Tech. Now today they're mostly just known for Enter Sandman. And every now and then they get a pretty decent upset at home. But Virginia Tech, they're a struggling program. And they're a program that probably should not be struggling at the level that they are. I mean, you look at it. Virginia Tech in Blacksburg, Virginia, it's definitely like Virginia's a pretty good state for recruiting. North Carolina's near. Like they're in a pretty good recruiting area. You can even tap into D.C., Maryland, that kind of stuff. And a program that is in a conference that's not great. The ACC is not a great conference right now when it comes to having a lot of teams that are very, very competitive. You look at, Miami, Florida State, and Clemson. Those are your brand teams. Those teams aren't even doing all that good right now. So there's a lot of potential for programs like North Carolina and Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech, which Georgia Tech's doing better right now with Grant Key. But for those type of programs to have great success in the ACC. I mean, you can win 9 games fairly easy in the ACC, especially if you get a very easy schedule. I mean, coaches like Dave Doran at NC State consistently win 8 games a year despite not even having great teams. So James Franklin obviously says, and he has said on College Game Day, that he wants to win a national championship at his next job. It's very commendable of him. Obviously that's any coach's goal. And we know that at Penn State, he was always coming just short. I mean, his teams would be very good, but they couldn't beat Ohio State. And when they ever had a shot to win it all, which obviously made the playoffs last year, they fell short to Notre Dame. But they had a good year last year, and they had many great seasons under James Franklin. And, winning Rose Bowl, they just could not take the next step. No matter what they did, they couldn't take the next step. So James Franklin, if he could not win a national championship in a program like Penn State, is he going to win a national championship at a program like Virginia Tech? No, probably not. I highly doubt that James Franklin is going to be able to even get Virginia Tech to Penn State's level at all. But is this a good hire for Virginia Tech? Because I called for it before it was even big news that, again, he was in talks with Virginia Tech. I think a lot of people felt this made sense. It was heavily favored in the betting odds from the beginning that he would go to Virginia Tech. But I think a lot of people just felt like this makes sense. And it does. It makes sense. Like for recruiting, I mean, he's recruited well at Pennsylvania, with Penn State. Like it's kind of in the similar part of the country. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but it is similar. I think he can recruit well at Virginia Tech. But the key is that Virginia Tech is a type of program that has been successful, but they've never been an elite program. So what do their fans want? They want Virginia Tech to become competitive again. They want Virginia Tech to be an 8-9 win, maybe every now and then can win 10 games, 11 games, and have a great season sprinkled in there every now and then. They want to be fairly relevant again. They want to be a very competitive program again. And they want their recruiting to get better because it's been down big. Can James Franklin do those things? If he can't win a national championship at Virginia Tech, can he turn Virginia Tech into a competitive program again? And I think the answer is yes. I mean, unless the game is just so far removed him from, being innovative at all and having success. But I mean, I don't necessarily think that you have to be an elite coach or a great coach to win 9 games at Virginia Tech in the modern ACC. I think you can do it. I think he can do it. So when I look at this hire, obviously, it's the first big domino. It's going to influence these other jobs, these other moves that are made at Florida, Auburn, LSU, Arkansas, tons of other jobs that are open right now. We even look at jobs like Wisconsin and Maryland where they kept their coaches in Loxley and Fickell for another year because they're like, hey, we're probably not going to be able to get a good hire when there's so many great jobs open right now. You've got Oklahoma State open out there. But Virginia Tech is off the board. And the thing that's really good about it is that they hired James Franklin now in the middle of November, that didn't need to keep dilly-dabbling with it. It made sense to go ahead and get this announced if James Franklin was actually going to take the job. Don't straw it out. Don't string it out. Get it done now. Now the recruits that Virginia Tech possibly could be looking at, some of the players maybe that are still in their future classes that maybe they want to keep, their team, it now knows for next season who their guy's going to be before the season's done. So now, Virginia Tech's roster now can be like, hey, well, I'm going to come back next year because of James Franklin, or hey, I'm going to go somewhere else because, James Franklin, whatever it may be. Franklin can start trying to figure out a staff. There's a lot of stuff that can be done now that Virginia Tech can do earlier than these other programs that haven't gotten a hire yet. So I think Virginia Tech in that regard is ahead of the curve. And again, James Franklin, you look at his record. His record is 128-60 all time. And at Penn State, he's 104-45, or he was 104-45, and he was 64-36 in the Big Ten. I mean, that's pretty good. Again, I understand why James Franklin gets a lot of flack, and I've given him a lot of flack on this channel. I've talked a lot of flack for James Franklin. He can't win the big game. He can't get Penn State over the hump. But again, that's Penn State. Penn State's the type of program that wants to be in that upper tier. They are a national championship type of program, the Paterno years. They've had success at that level, and they want to get back there. And James Franklin got them so close, but just no cigar. Just could not get over the hump, proverbially. Couldn't get it done. And Penn State fans grew thin with James Franklin. I mean, a lot of people, are saying, oh, well, James Franklin, he's very unlikable, or the fans just didn't like him. Winning cures all. You win. If James Franklin had won 2 national championships at Penn State like Georgia has with Kirby Smart, nobody would have been calling for his head, no matter how unlikable he is. I can't speak to that. I don't know the guy. All I know is what I see. And obviously, Penn State fans just didn't like him anymore. And there were instances where him and the students, were yelling at each other with games. It was bad. This 3-3 start when Penn State opened as the number 2 team in the country, having Drew Aller at quarterback, a guy that everybody thought was going to be a first-round draft pick coming into this season. They were going to have massive success in the Big Ten yet again, having a great chance to knock off Ohio State and maybe win the Big Ten and compete for a national title. It fell short. It started with the Oregon game. The Oregon game, Not a good look there. Oregon's not Ohio State. Be like, hey, Penn State should be able to win that game at home, right? Most of America went with Oregon, and they were right, including myself. I picked Oregon. Penn State couldn't get it done at home. You're like, well, okay, yet again, Penn State falling short, but then they lose to UCLA. It's like, this is bad. And I remember when they lost that game 42-37 to UCLA, previously winless UCLA. Obviously, UCLA, we have found out, is not that bad of a team. But that was a really bad loss for Penn State. And James Franklin was like, hey, the team didn't respond. It's like, hey, yeah, the team didn't respond, but you are responsible for that. And then they lose another game. They go 3-3, and it's over. I think everybody saw the writing on the wall at that point. Even though, I said at the time that they fired him, I think Penn State made a mistake firing James Franklin. Now, the reason I said that is mostly timing. I think the timing of it was terrible in the middle of the season because their season's derailed. Obviously, they have, with Terry Smith, almost beaten Indiana, and they did win against Michigan State last week, won the land-grant trophy. That's great. They're 4-6 now. They still have a chance to make a bowl game. But they've lost a lot of recruits. LeVar Keys, he's already committed to Indiana. Receiver that was in their 2026 class. They're losing a lot of guys, which I know a lot of people are like, well, hey, Penn State's losing a lot of guys, but they can, recruit other guys. It's going to take some time. Penn State, they might be in a lull for a couple of years because of this move. Yeah, you can say, well, James Franklin, they were going nowhere. You look at those previous 3 seasons before that, 11-2, 10-3, 13-3. It would have been hard to believe that, you had the bad season in 2020. Would James Franklin have had a more bad season in the future? I think the 2 things that James Franklin did wrong, in my opinion, is what got him fired, is he kept Drew Aller. That was a mistake. He should have gone with Beau Pribula, which obviously Beau Pribula ended up getting hurt in Missouri, which we don't know if he would have got hurt at Penn State. You never know. It's life's full of what ifs, but it's like, you keep Aller. Aller gets hurt. He wasn't playing good anyway. And then they brought in Jim Knowles. And yeah, Jim Knowles is a good coordinator, but Jim Knowles has a very unique defensive style that's hard to learn. And in a season where it's like, okay, Penn State, you have championship aspirations. It'd be a little bit different if Penn State fans knew this was going to be a growing pains year. Maybe Aller's gone. It's like you got a freshman quarterback. Maybe we could go 7-5 this year, which that's never Penn State fans. But it would be more reasonable to assume why you would have the year that you have. Then, bringing in a guy like Jim Knowles is kind of experimental. But Jim Knowles coming in, the team did not learn the defense. Ironically, they're actually starting to learn the defense now, after all this time, which is hilarious. Now that Franklin's gone, which they probably would have done if Franklin was still there. It just took time, and it took too long. And that's why they started out so bad, giving up 42 points to UCLA. They're not giving up 42 points anymore to anybody. But again, it's too little too late for James Franklin at Penn State. We got Clint Moses in here saying details on contract. I actually been looking for that, Clint Moses. I've been looking for that. Appreciate you for stopping by. All I know right now is that James Franklin is no longer going to be getting paid a lot by Penn State. That's all I know. I know that it's gone down from a $50 million buyout that Penn State's having to pay to $9 million. So now Penn State is almost basically off the hook with James Franklin entirely. But details on contract, according to this article right here that I'm looking at from Yahoo Sports, James Franklin, the contract details for Virginia Tech, years and amount, is to be determined. So it has not been publicly said yet. If anybody sees anything on that, let me know while I'm still alive, because that would be very helpful to know the contract details. But I do not know how long it is or for how much. Obviously, I don't think Virginia Tech would pay him as much as he was making at Penn State. I would assume it would be less. All I do know about Virginia Tech, though, I did read recently that they claim, because their fans are mad and the university's mad, that they're not doing good, they supposedly in the next 4 to 5 years are going to be pumping millions and millions and millions, $240 million. That was the figure I saw in the next 5 years into their football program. So if that is true, then I'm sure a lot of that equates to James Franklin's contract and maybe some stadium upgrades, renovation. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. NIL obviously has a lot to do with it. So a lot of that money is going to be over the next 5 years. And if that is true, And again, I keep saying if because I'm not sure if they're actually doing that. I don't know if that was official. I just saw like a report on that about a month ago. If they actually do that, I do believe that Virginia Tech can win pretty well in the ACC with James Franklin. And again, for a lot of people out there, like Penn State fans probably laughing at Virginia Tech right now for being so excited because the social media reactions, if you look on Twitter and you look on just articles like Virginia Tech forums, they're excited. They are overwhelmingly excited for James Franklin. And like if Bill Belichick wasn't at Carolina and they needed a coach and they got James Franklin, I'm sure that the excitement would have been the exact same at North Carolina as it is at Virginia Tech. Because a school like that, I mean, they look at James Franklin for what he is. It's like, hey, this dude's won over 70% of his games. He's had a great career at Vandy and Penn State for the most part. I mean, like, I'm sure he can win at our program. And again, Virginia Tech is not expecting James Franklin to win a national championship with Virginia Tech. If he somehow did, they'd be blown away. But that's not probably in the cards. If James Franklin wins 8 or 9 games a year at Virginia Tech and they're consistently ranked in the ACC title hunt, just relevant, then Penn State fans trashing Virginia Tech fans will make no sense because Virginia Tech fans know exactly what they want. And they believe that James Franklin is going to be able to achieve that. And I think that he can. I mean, like I said, I mean, there is a chance that James Franklin's at Virginia Tech and it just bombs. Like his career, it just tanks. And he fails to, deliver on any bit of success like he did at Vandy and Penn State. Maybe the game has passed him by. I mean, we've seen this before. But I don't know, man. I mean, James Franklin is a year removed from being in the college football playoff runner-up game, semifinal. And again, Penn State is a better roster than Virginia Tech, but Virginia Tech is not expecting him to do that. Not expecting him to win a championship, not expecting him to make the playoffs every year, maybe every now and then. So, honestly, I'm intrigued. I want to see what people think about the hire, honestly. I'm gonna do a poll on the YouTube stream here. I'm gonna do a poll. I'm gonna ask people what they think about the hire. Do you think this is a good hire? Do you think James Franklin will succeed? Because I know there's a lot of people that think it's a bad hire. Which, I mean, who else is Virginia Tech going to get? I mean, realistically. I don't think so. I don't think there's any other big names out there that would have made sense. Cliff Moses says sometimes hiring names leak turn out to be true. Yeah, because typically when you have something of the nature of, hey, this guy, they're in talks. And remember Mark Stoops at A&M. That is like the premier example right there. It looked like that was a done deal. There were already people like finalizing it. I even made a video on it. I've said that publicly a few times, and I literally had a video ready made for that hire. I wasn't going live for it. I just had a video that I was making for it, and I was about to release the thing, and then it came like right before I released it, it came out that, oh, it's not actually happening, and they're looking elsewhere. I was like, well, I'm glad I didn't release the video. That would have been kind of bad because, it kind of sucked I already made it, but it is what it is. The point is, it's like sometimes you think something's a done deal. You think something's actually going to happen because of what it's being reported, and then it don't actually happen. So they ended up getting Mike Elko instead of Mark Stoops. So a completely different outcome there. But all the James Franklin and talk stuff, it was like, so we got 3 votes already. Appreciate you guys for participating and all you guys saying yes. I think that's the consensus. I ask on Twitter as well, did Virginia Tech make a good hire with James Franklin? And I really believe that the overwhelming result is going to be yes. I think most people agree with that. There's going to be people out there that are going to say no. Because like Penn State fans will say it. There will be some people that say it, but I really just don't think that probably 85 and 90% of college football fans think it's a bad hire. Like I said, Virginia Tech fans, I mean, they're excited right now. They're really excited. I can't blame Virginia Tech fans. We got one vote saying no. If you're still in the chat, the person that voted no, I want to hear why you think it's a no. Because obviously we know the people that are going to say yes, this is a good hire because of what I'm saying. Oh, it's Caden. There it is. There it is. Caden the Diesel Freak, James Franklin will be terrible at Virginia Tech. Well, we know why Caden believes that it will be terrible at Virginia Tech, because Caden thinks anybody that's not Ohio State is terrible. So that checks out. But, I mean, to your standards, Cade, yeah, he's going to do bad at Virginia Tech, because anything short of a national title for you is bad. So, yeah, he's going to do awful at Virginia Tech with those standards. But we got Bean here with the realistic example. Appreciate you for being here. He says, Franklin can beat this. Virginia Tech history, 2025, 3-7, 2024, 6-7, 2023, 7-6, 2022, 3-8, 2021, 6-7, and 2020, 5-6. I mean, the end of the Justin Fuentes era was rough, and obviously Brent Prod did not work out. So, yeah, the last probably what you have there, 5, 6, 7 seasons, Virginia Tech's been awful. Because I remember they were ranked when they played Old Dominion and they lost. And that was like 2018, somewhere in that range. That was Fuentes. I know that was like the beginning of the end for Virginia Tech. Because, you know, before that year, Virginia Tech was still like competing for the ACC on a regularity. And then for a bit there, Virginia was actually good with Bryce Perkins. They kind of supplanted Virginia Tech. But then both Virginia and Virginia Tech have been bad. Now Virginia's better this year, but like Virginia Tech has been consistently poor now for a while. Even that 7-6 year in 2023, they really weren't that good. So, I mean, it's really interesting that Virginia Tech, a program that was like consistently very, very solid for a long time, just kind of fell off. Everyone on Twitter saying it's a good hire. Got like 8 votes. Everyone's saying it's a good hire. Only Caden saying it's a bad hire. Clint Moses says, I feel bad the Big 12 didn't hire Franklin somewhere. Yeah. The thing is that if it's true that Virginia Tech is going to be paying that much money in the next 5 years into their football program, then it makes sense why Virginia Tech got them. So, I mean, you look at the Big 12, like those jobs, I don't think that they're going to pay as much as Virginia Tech probably is going to pay, even though we don't know the figures. But I bet it's still good. I mean, he's probably still going to be making like $7 million a year at the very least. Could be more, could be less. I don't know. I don't know if UCF maybe. But I don't think Scott Frost making $7 million a year. I don't know what he's making, but we got Kay the Diesel Freak coming in with a $1 super chat or a super sticker. Appreciate that, Kay the Diesel Freak. I don't know. I might drop the link for you guys to come in. I'm not going to be on here long because I gotta go to bed fairly early tonight. Just wanted to do an emergency stream because this is big news. I mean, this is crazy. Like I'm glad for Virginia Tech fans. I hope it works out for them. I hope that everything that they're hoping and expecting with James Franklin comes to pass. I mean, if he wins them 8-9 games a year, that's about all you can ask for. Clint Moses, the ACC is wide open now. The ACC is wide open because no team is good. That's the thing. Like no one said that when Clemson was dominating. You know, when like the Coastal was always wide open. Remember the Coastal? They had 7 years in a row. Everybody in the Coastal won the division. 7 years straight, every single team won. So I mean, it was a kerfluffle every single year in the Coastal. But Clemson kept winning the ACC. But now it's like Clemson's down, Florida State's down, Miami can't take over the thing. So it's like the ACC is wide open. Dean's UCF coach making $4 million, less than $4 million. Scott Frost. So yeah, I mean, Virginia Tech's going to pay James Franklin more than probably like Oklahoma State. I mean, Oklahoma State can maybe they're rough right now though. They're down. Like, they're not putting money in their football program. It's going to be interesting to see who Oklahoma State gets. They're probably going to get a group of 5 coach. I would think. I'll drop the link. Not going to be on her super long, but I'll drop the link. I'm sure Kane is going to come on and give us his thoughts of why James Franklin's a terrible hire. It should be interesting. I just don't see how it's a bad hire. I mean, there's always a chance it don't work. I mean, I'm not saying it's a slam dunk. I'm not saying there's no way it could fail because really there's no hire out there that you can say that practically ever. I mean, like even saying like Nick Saban coming back to coach, would it be a slam dunk in this era? Things have changed. Saban don't like the new era. He's getting older. There's not a lot of jobs out there you can say, hey, this is a slam dunk. I just don't agree. This is not a slam dunk. This is the best hire Virginia Tech can make. And that's why I think it's a good hire. Hey, the Diesel Freak is on. How you doing tonight?
Oh, just good, Jeffrey. First of all, the hiring at Virginia Tech, in my opinion, is still a little terrible, but knowing the ACC and the situation that they're in, because now Clemson's down, Florida State, well, it's a garbage hole. I mean, the ACC, as far as I said, is unknown, and, well, it might be good for Virginia Tech, it might be terrible, but James Franklin's got to get Virginia Tech rebuilt, because if he doesn't get that locker room and that whole entire situation figured out and situated, then it's going to cause him a lot of issues at Virginia Tech. I'm being completely fairly honest.
Well, I mean, it would, because if James Franklin cannot win in Blacksburg in an era of the ACC that is so wide open, it probably means it's going to suck for a long time to come. I'm not saying forever, because, I mean, Indiana for 100th of all. But Virginia Tech's in a situation like this feels make or break. Like, James Franklin has to work. James Franklin has to get them to that 8-9 win threshold. And if he does that, then Virginia Tech fans are going to be completely happy with that.
Like I said, if he can fix Virginia Tech, we'll see. But as far as I'm concerned, I'll wait until he does something miraculous or he tells Virginia Tech to get their lazy butts off their seats and starts fixing up stuff. Because if he doesn't, then, well, I mean, I'm going to come on here and say, well, I was right in the first place. But you don't even need to bring up Indiana's situation. I mean, that's a whole other subject of another day. I mean, we all know how that's going to go down.
Yeah, well, I wasn't referencing the Big Ten title game. I was just talking about the fact that a program that had always been bad is now winning. I'm saying if that can happen, then Virginia Tech can absolutely turn their program around, even if James Franklin doesn't work, even if that's 25 years from now. I'm just saying that it would be a lot better for them if they do well with James Franklin.
No, I get what you're saying, Jeffrey, but I'm just saying if he doesn't do something right and he don't tell Virginia Tech to get their lazy butts off their seat, like I said, then Virginia Tech is going down on a bad spiral.
Yeah, I mean, it can't get much worse than where they're at right now, because they're at that level of they're not so awful that they're like 1-11 every year, but they're just bad. I mean, they're like 5-7 boring, they're just not good. They're completely irrelevant.
I mean, let me be perfectly honest. Virginia Tech is just as boring as Northwestern. They're even as boring as Nebraska. Jeez. Oh, I mean, man.
Northwestern with Pat Fitzgerald was better than Virginia Tech has been in 8 years. And even like recently, Northwestern's been a little better. Nebraska, I mean, they're having a better year, but yeah, for the last 10 years, Nebraska and Virginia Tech have basically been the same.
Hey, hold on. B makes a great point, and pull up Bean's comment. His latest comment: "This Terry won't let Saban coach again. Ain't that the truth? The Virginia Tech would never get their hands on that man. I don't care how much money they offered him. He's not coming out."
Coach again. All I was saying earlier was that if he did hypothetically come out of retirement and coach somewhere, it would not be a slam dunk hire because of the fact there's a chance it would completely fail because of his age and the changing landscape in college football. He would not have success again at the level he did at Alabama. Obviously, for not as long because he physically can at his age. He's not coaching again. I'm just saying that it would not be at the same level that he was before.
I mean, the dude just turned 74. and Miss Terry's already making him clean up the house. I've seen the videos on the internet of him cleaning the house. Oh, it's
Cleaning's
funny.
good. Cleaning is good.
Oh man. And Miss Terry's making him clean the house in retirement, so we all know he's never coming out of retirement. But with James Franklin, as far as like I said, until he can do something miraculous at Virginia Tech, if he does, which I mean, there's a possibility, but in my 2 cents, we'll see. We'll just have to figure out if he actually can do something, or if Virginia Tech can get their lazy butts off their seats and actually do something.
Yeah. How do you feel about the jobs that are still open? Florida, Auburn, LSU.
I mean, whoever coaches at Auburn, LSU, and who else? Florida? Yeah, good luck. I mean, I know Lane Kiffin ain't going anywhere from Ole Miss. He's not leaving Ole Miss in a pine box. And I dang sure know Brian Harline isn't leaving as offensive coordinator, because that guy is a big key part of Ohio State, for 2. And 3, I don't care if you're a group of 5 conference coach that wants to go to the ACC, or the SEC, good luck. Because if you eventually come up as a coach at the SEC, you're going to have to put your foot in the ground and shut up, because you got Georgia to deal with and you got Alabama to deal. Well, technically Ole Miss and Texas A&M right now, besides Georgia, but Alabama, we know. Well, let's be honest, that team's going to lose the Iron Bowl. Speaking of which,
don't think they're going to lose the Iron Bowl. I mean, they could lose the Iron Bowl because, again, Auburn's going to show up, but Alabama has beaten them the last several times in Jordan-Hare closely, but they've won. So, I mean, until they don't win in Jordan-Hare, you kind of believe they would win, but, I mean, they could lose. I think it's like 65-35 that Alabama wins. I'm favoring Bama. I think they win, but it's going to be a close game.
And you want to talk about a prediction? If Auburn beats Alabama and Jordan-Hare at the Iron Bowl, which is less than a week away, then that's gonna be really bad on DeBoer's record as the head coach of Alabama. First loss at Jordan-Hare Stadium against Auburn as the head coach since Saban decided to retire because NIL is driving him nuts. But it'll be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it would be terrible. I mean, fans would be mad, like really mad, because they would miss the playoffs again. It would be horrendous for DeBoer. Obviously, he's not going to get fired, but it would make next year very critical for sure that they do better and not choke at the end of the season. It would be huge. Like, they cannot lose that game for the trajectory.
Like Oklahoma, like how y'all choked against Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, that was a choke job. We should have won that game.
I could imagine you and Jackson and the Godfather crying on the Alabama channel after losing to Auburn.
I did not cry. You know I didn't, because you were watching this on. I was not crying. I was upset about it, in a frustrated way, a crying way.
Still, it'd be funny. It would be funny.
I mean, I don't know if you watched the game. I mean, we outgained them 2-1.
2-1. I mean, their odds are as good as yours. I mean, there's a 50-50. I mean, Alabama's not elite. Let's be fair about that.
Well, if we hadn't turned it over 3 times, we would have won by 17 points.
Well, that's the problem with the offense, is that they're not communicating like correspondingly with the offensive coordinators, and let alone the head coach who's in charge. And Ty Simpson cannot be throwing interceptions and hauling turnovers. Let's be fair. That's mistakes on his end as well. So let's not say Alabama's not at fault.
Yeah, Alabama was at fault. I mean, they're the reason they lost the game, and that's really what I said on the show after the game. It was Alabama's fault they lost. It was not Oklahoma. Anything they did. Alabama blew the game. They gave it to them. Alabama turned it over 3 times, one resulting in a pick 6. That is why they did not win. And it is what it is. I mean, if we did not turn it over, we win. I mean, football is about not turning it over and scoring points. We scored points, but we turned it over. And we gave points to them. So.
See, y'all, and here's the other thing. Y'all let them score on y'all and then block that field goal in the last minutes of the game. And then they got the field goal and won the game by the last second. And then it's like, okay, well, y'all lost to Oklahoma. Now you're walking in Eastern Illinois, which, I mean, that game, either you guys start struggling in the first quarter a bit, or you come out and absolutely blow the brakes off of them, which I'm going to say y'all beat the brakes off of them, but it's going to be slow. But that's just me.
I mean, we're going to win by 50 plus. I mean, it's a game that none of the SEC teams should be playing those types of teams this late in the season. I've said that before as well, but it's the way that it is. Maybe a 9-game conference slate that we're going to have in the future, like the Big Ten, Alabama, and these type of teams will not play those type of games this late in the season. I mean, they're dumb. They are dumb. We're gonna.
But I mean, but if y'all lose to Auburn and in the Iron Bowl, I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm gonna say this: I know I'll be drinking a couple good cans of root beer afterwards, and I'll be singing my version of Dixieland Delight, which includes the word F Alabama, F Indiana, and Michigan too. My hell raising delight. Oh,
I mean, it's great, Caden, that you can actually say that about Indiana now because they're not bad anymore. So that is a compliment. Because, I mean, used to Indiana was a doormat, so it didn't matter. But now you have to include them in the song because they're relevant. So that's a good thing.
No, they're still one of the worst teams in my opinion. They're just overrated, overhyped. And they're just, you walk into the Big Ten title game against the team who won every other game on their schedule, Ohio State, who's still undefeated. And like I've said in the past to you, but yeah, you ignore me. I don't know why, if it's not getting through your skull, or either you're not figuring out what I said before. Until Indiana beats Ohio State, I don't want to hear it from y'all's fan base. That's specifically talking Indiana.
Any Indiana fan cares about that, though, Kate. They're just happy they don't suck anymore. They don't care.
Like, you don't even know that, for one, and two, I'm telling y'all that fact.
Yeah, dude.
Y'all never beat Ohio State in 20 years. Y'all never beat Ohio State. And not even during Jim Tressel's term.
It doesn't matter. Like that. During the Tressel era, rather, they were terrible. IU was bad.
During the Meyer era, let me remind you, while Urban Meyer was head coach, we beat y'all by multiple digits. And then even in the early term of Ryan Day's term as head coach, we beat y'all by multiple digits. So I mean, the history speaks for itself.
Again, history does speak for itself. Ohio State's had 5-star NFL talent every year, and Indiana's had a bunch of scrubs that actually are guys that are going to play in the NFL next year. So it's going to be more competitive.
So until, like I said it, Jeffrey, if this can't get through your thick skull, because apparently I don't know if it's full of crap, but until Indiana beats Ohio State, they can't prove it.
Indiana fans are just happy that they're not bad anymore. That's all you need to have in your head. Ohio State doesn't matter. Beating them or not does not matter. Indiana's the number 2 ranked team in the country, and that is all that matters to them.
And even if you lose and even make it into the playoffs, we know you guys are going to choke in the playoffs. Y'all are going to choke in the playoffs.
Caden.
Good grief.
This was a show about Franklin, but,
What are you doing up this late?
I'm always up at this late. What the hell do you want?
I thought you had a day job.
Somehow Kane can multitask. He can work and he can troll us all day at the same time somehow. I don't know how, but he does. It's pretty amazing.
We're missing Jackson. Where's Jackson?
I have no idea. Jackson, he's in my A right now. I'm shocked.
I think Jackson was the best.
Yes.
Well, the bigger question is where is Jeffrey's little Austin from Sports Talk with Austin? Because that's the only person besides Godfather who kisses Jeffries up
Hey,
in this
y'all gonna get
stream.
beat. Michigan's gonna beat Ohio State.
Yeah, I doubt it.
You know that you, Caden, single-handedly makes America want to root for Michigan, right?
And then
Coming from a delusional son of a.
if that don't work, Indiana's gonna beat y'all in the championship game. So yeah, you're beat both ways. There's no win-win for you, Caden. It's over. It's over.
If Ohio
So,
State somehow lost to Michigan and Indiana back-to-back, I think that
bye.
America would be on all time. Just
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys will be
used to
wishing,
that.
but it ain't going to happen, Jeffrey.
It
And
probably
besides,
isn't going to happen. I'm just saying America would be happy because when you boast about Ohio State all the time, it does frustrate people.
I think Signadia put up 50 on
well,
Ohio State.
listen, Jeffrey, my buddy, offensive tackle Carson Hainsman for Ohio State's texting me right now about asking me to come over for weightlifting sessions at 5:30 tomorrow morning.
Oh, no.
So I'll catch y'all later and roll Buckeyes roll,
Dude,
buddy.
you don't know these people, man. They don't even follow you on Twitter. Okay, if you knew them, they would follow you on Twitter. Have a good night, Caden. Appreciate you for stopping by and appreciate the $1 super chat. How you doing tonight, Godfather?
I'm okay now after that. I got to catch my breath just a minute. I'm good. Where's Will ND? Is he not with you tonight?
Yeah, I wanted to actually go live with Will tonight. He couldn't make it, but I think we're going to be going live tomorrow for the football predictions. So that's going to be fun. I just wanted to do an emergency stream. I mean, because like by tomorrow, every single person's already going to be talking about this. I just wanted to get it out there, my thoughts, on James Franklin to Virginia Tech instead of waiting until tomorrow to talk about it in our college football prediction stream. I just wanted to talk about it because it's a big deal. I mean, everybody knew it was going to happen. And it did happen, and the result is exactly what I expected with people's reaction. It's mostly positive, even including having this Penn State fan here. Appreciate you for being here. He says as a state college resident, not a Penn State fan. He's not a Penn State fan. He's just a state college resident, which that's actually crazy. Virginia Tech knocked it out of the park with the JF hire. He will immediately change the culture in Blacksburg. That is the consensus. I agree with that because James Franklin can win 9 games every year at Virginia Tech. He can win at least 8 games at Virginia Tech every year. I don't see any issues with that. And if he does that, Virginia Tech fans will be happy. I know, again, Caden, if anything short of a championship or beating Ohio State means you're trash, but Virginia Tech fans just want to be relevant again. And I think James Franklin can do that.
What did they? I didn't see us. They hadn't revealed his contract. Did you see the money he got?
I've been looking for that. I've been like refreshing the page, trying to get information on that. And every single article that I'm seeing is just talking about how Penn State is basically off the hook for basically most of the buyout. So now Penn State's only going to have to pay like $9 million of the buyout instead of 50. But on Virginia Tech's side of things, it's not saying what his contract is yet. It's still to be determined, which they've already, I'm sure, like finalized that. It's just not out in the public yet. I think he's going to be making $7-8 million a year.
It'll pop out pretty quick. Probably in the next week or so, a week and a half, it'll pop out what he's making. Yeah, he's probably going to get $10 million a year at least, probably.
It could be that high. I mean, especially if Virginia Tech is that serious, like putting funds into the program. I honestly would pay him less, pay him around $7 million a year, and put more money into the recruiting aspect of it. I mean, obviously, you had to get James Franklin to want to sign. I know. But, like, you don't want to put too much money into Franklin because just say he does underperform, then yet again, 3 years from now, we're talking about yet again another massive buyout, another massive contract that's just cut out. So, to me, like, Virginia Tech needs to be careful to not overpay him or, like, give him too big of a contract. But I'm sure they had to give him a pretty big one for him to sign, too. So, it's kind of a catch-22 there. We'll see what the result is. But $10 million a year would be pretty steep, especially if it's like a 6-7 year contract. Because, again, you're talking about, $70, $80, $90 million. And if after 3 years he's like 15 and 20, then they're going to want to fire him. And then, it's just I'm tired of these big buyouts. So hopefully they made a good contract for them and a good contract for Franklin. But at the end of the day, if he succeeds there, then it don't matter what the contract is, But we'll see.
He didn't want to come to Florida, or Arkansas, or Auburn. That surprised me. He didn't want to come to the SEC again. Or the Auburn job. Somebody said that was a prestigious job by Brian Kelly, LSU. I mean, I don't know. I think he's going to have to sue them to get his money.
Mm. Yeah, to me, I mentioned it earlier in the show. I just think that he fits better at Virginia Tech. Like, he was at Vandy. But Vandy's not like the other SEC schools, really. They're kind of an outlier. And I don't know, Franklin just doesn't look like, to me, like he would fit at Florida or Auburn. I don't think he would have done bad there, but the problem is, too, is it's the expectation level, too. Like you're talking about, especially Florida, they want to win 10, 11 games again. I think at least Auburn, you're talking about 8 right now. Like Auburn fans would probably take 8. But eventually they'd want more. Virginia Tech is an 8 or 9 win, you're good. And it's a lot easier to win there. Like it's low pressure for Franklin. Like if James Franklin cannot win 8 games in the ACC right now with how bad that conference is, I mean, Pitt's winning games. Georgia Tech is 9-1, and they're barely beating Wake Forest and Boston College. I mean, it can be done. The league is bad. The only reason Bill Belichick's 4-6 is because the ACC is so bad. If he was in the SEC, he'd be winless in the conference. So I don't know. I think it's just an easy job for him to win at, and it makes sense for him to go there. Whereas, like, Florida and Auburn, it just feels like he'd be another coach that would get fired. Those jobs, I don't know who they'd get. I mean, that's why everybody's saying Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin's so desirable because it feels like Lane Kiffin's like the only guy that would legitimately consider taking one of those jobs that would not get fired after like 3 years. I still think he would get fired eventually. I think he should stay at Ole Miss. And even Caden said that, which I agree with. Not the only thing I agree with him on. But the thing is that those jobs are just terrible because you have to win a lot to not get fired. And very tough to win there right now because no one's doing it. Every hire they make, they're firing their coaches left and right at Auburn and Florida.
I think he had a long talk with Nick before they hired Brian Harsin about going down to the Auburn job. So I think that may be what derailed Lane from going to Auburn. More than likely. I don't know. I mean, why would you go to Florida? I don't know if they could ever get that program back together. That program's never going to be the same again, like the way Urban Meyer had it, and the old ball coach. I mean, I don't know Spurrier. He only won one national championship, but I forgot how many conference championships he won. He won several, but they were hard to beat. They were hard to deal with when he was there. They had a lot of, but there were some teams though that they finally got his number and beat him, and Nebraska destroyed them in the 90s when they played for the championship game, Florida and Nebraska. It was they romped Florida. Alabama beat them twice. Hadn't many teams in college football history ever beat Florida twice in the same year. I'd have to go back and look. Alabama may be the only team that's ever done that.
Probably. It sounds
I think
right.
so. I think it is. I have to go back and look, but I think Alabama could be the only team that's ever done that. And then, they destroyed. It was a close match down at Gainesville, but the SEC championship game. It wasn't even close. You wasn't even born.
Oh, yeah.
It was a long time ago. It seems like it was a long time ago. It seemed like the 90s was just yesterday, but it's been pushing 20 plus years.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the 90s still feels new. I mean, when I was a kid, it was still like right there. Now it's a lot of times passed. It'd be crazy for sure. Stephen Cherry right here, he's saying nobody stays at Ole Miss. I mean, appreciate you being here, Stephen. The thing is, I just keep looking back. I know people get sick of me every 2 seconds talking about it, Cignetti at Indiana. The thing is that nobody stayed in Indiana either. Everybody got fired in Indiana. Okay, there was never a coach in Indiana that got poached. They all got fired. Bill Mallory got fired, the greatest coach in Indiana history. Lee Corso got fired. Kevin Wilson got fired. Tom Allen got fired. Bill Lynch got fired. Terry Hepner died, sadly. Jerry DiNardo got fired. Bo McMillan in the 40s left for the NFL. So that was about it. But every other coach got fired. John Pont got fired. They all got fired. So it's like nobody stayed at IU either because they got fired. But now you got Cignetti, and he's staying there. So times have changed. I think legitimately Ole Miss can't keep him. I mean, right now he I don't know. He's either legitimately considering LSU or he's toying with him. He's trying to get Ole Miss to give him more. I don't know. It's a tug of war. Because I mean, I've heard that Ole Miss has a letter on his desk with the contract. I've heard. I don't know if that's true or not, but I mean, I'm just telling you what I've heard. I don't have any insider information, but he supposedly has a letter on his desk, an offer letter to remain at Ole Miss. And to what I'm seeing on Twitter, there was a tweet probably about a few hours ago. Yeah. Story like Lane Kiffin's family touring Gainesville and Baton Rouge doesn't get out unless Lane Kiffin and his representatives want it to get out. And I was like, boo, don't do it, Lane. Because I've been obviously on the supporter train of him staying at Ole Miss for obvious reasons. I've said so before. I think that he won't get fired at Ole Miss. He'll get fired at those other places possibly, especially Florida. I mean, LSU, maybe not. But, I mean, LSU fired Ed O after a year or two removed from winning a championship. So, I don't know, man. I just think after the tarmac, he stayed at Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is in good hands and in good shape. They got a good NIL situation. Makes no sense for him to leave. But everybody's pushing for him to leave. Oh, it's a better job. Better job. Okay, Penn State's a better job than Indiana, but he stayed in Indiana, Cignetti. So I think Lane Kiffin can stay at Ole Miss and be just fine. It's just what Lane wants to do. If Lane wants to go to LSU, okay. If Lane wants to go to Florida, okay. I think it's dumb. I think it's wrong. I think it's foolish. You guys disagree with me, and that's fine. But I'm not changing my mind. I don't care how many times people tell me, hey, Lane Kiffin needs to leave. I'm telling you no. I'm telling you that he does not need to leave. If he goes to LSU and wins a national championship, I'll be the first person to congratulate and be like, good job, Lane. And then I'll also be the first person to say, hey, 2 years later when he gets fired, that I was still right that he got fired. But if he does not get fired, if he goes to LSU and has a 15-year career there and has a Saban-like career or better, at LSU, wins 2 national championships, does fantastic there, and the fans love him and all that, and then he retires, again, I'll be the first to tell you were right. I was getting correct. Making the move was fine. It worked out. I just disagree with it. I think he should stay on.
I don't think he's going to LSU. I mean, Ole Miss is like you said. I read a couple articles today. They didn't let out any information on what the letter was, but I'm sure they offered him a pretty substantial amount of money to stay at Ole Miss. I'm sure, or added more to the They just added more to the contract. Yeah. I can't believe the Cowboys are doing what they're doing tonight. They actually woke up one game, 33.
Oh yeah, they do it every few games, Godfather. Like every probably 4 to 6 games, they have a good game, and then they make people believe them, and then the next game they get blown out. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, that team will never be like they were in the '90s either. That's long gone. Those kind of players are long gone. I mean, there's some good football players. Don't get me wrong, but they just had a chemistry. All those guys, Troy Aikman, Michael Irving, all you offensive line. I mean, they just had a chemistry, and that's why they nearly won 4 Super Bowls. Probably should have. They were a good football team, but I was always a Joe Montana fan. Joe Montana was a go to me before. I don't know. I mean, Tom Brady and I can't think that the other cat was with the San Francisco 49ers. He won a couple of rings there with Joe Montana, and then Dallas picked him up as linebacker. and he won. I think he won 3 with them. Had 5. Haley, Charles Haley.
Mhm.
You probably you remember Charles Haley?
Now that you said it, I do. Before,
Yeah,
no. I
yeah.
couldn't.
He had
Who were you talking about? I was trying to think, but yes, I do. I do know Charles Haley.
he had 5 rings before anybody.
Mm.
Before Brady ever had what he had. Haley had. He was a good football player, but he's a little bit off. All these players always say he was a little bit wacko. So I guess that's what
Mm.
it takes to play that. To play with a certain kind of edge, I guess. I don't know. They was all afraid of him because he was nutso. So I guess I mean he played. He had some great teammates around him at Dallas and San Francisco. I mean, Joe Montana was a hell of a quarterback. Whether you like him, a lot of people still don't like Joe, but he won. Him and Jerry Rice, he won with his arm. He was a good quarterback.
People don't like the ones who win.
Now,
Yeah, they hate the great ones. That's what Bryant said, right? I mean, that's just the way it is. But for a lot of reasons, I mean, Tom Brady. When I was younger, people couldn't stand Tom Brady. Like, a lot of people still don't like Tom Brady. But now people just kind of like respect Tom Brady because it's like, hey, he won all those rings. He was great. But like when I was a kid, people couldn't stand it because like I remember like 2010, 2011, 2012 Patriots. Like they just all those comeback wins that he would always have, and then like his post game interview,
yeah.
people get mad and he was arrogant. And I was a young kid, but I remember people could not stand Tom Brady. He was loathed. People like Manning and Breeze better. But yeah, but Brady now, I mean, he's pretty favorable now because his career's over and he was a legend. So yeah, like I said, people hate the great ones.
He left New England and went down to Tampa Bay and won a championship. So he proved he could go somewhere else and win.
That cemented it for sure, and that's why
Yeah.
Belichick has fallen off because he didn't win squat after Brady left, and then now at Carolina he's doing bad, so that's why people are trashing him so much. It's like, well, he couldn't win without Brady. I mean, his record without Brady is like 40%. Like his record without Tom Brady as his quarterback is like 40%. It's bad. It's awful. So, I mean, it's a little unfair to Belichick, you could say, to just discount all of those great defenses that they had and all the players that they had around Brady and all that. But at the same time, it's like no one would have been able to say that if Belichick had just retired after Tom Brady left. If when Tom Brady left, if Belichick had retired, then no one would have said anything. But since he continued to coach, that's why you have all this fuel to use against Belichick. Say, hey, he might be a Hall of Famer, but without Brady, he's nothing. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
You got to support that you wouldn't have had if he had just quit when Brady left.
Yeah, if he just retired and went on and quit worrying about college football, I don't know. But anyway, we'll see what Alabama does against Eastern Illinois. I don't know what's it going to be on. I think it's supposed to be on SEC Plus. I think.
Yeah,
I
second of
think
the
so.
game, which is going to be hilarious when we do our post game show on Saturday on Alabama Voice of College Football. It's going to be like, I'm not going to see it literally 1 second of that game outside of Twitter highlights because who is SEC Network Plus? I mean, if it's on ESPN Plus too, then we'll be able to watch it. I didn't think of that. Maybe it's on both. It's on ESPN Plus. I got ESPN Plus. Maybe I'll be able to see it then. But if not, then I won't be able to see it. And then it'll just be like the blind leading the blind. I mean, even if I have if it's on ESPN Plus as well and I see it, I mean, I'll watch some of it, man. But I'm gonna be watching the better games. I mean, like more so. Like, I mean, Alabama's gonna destroy them. I mean, like. The more fun part of the game is going to be when the younger guys get in, like seeing AK Deer, guys like that versus the starters. Like we know the starters are going to destroy them.
Oh yeah, they'll get to play a lot.
But I mean, it would be nice if we were at least playing like Tulane, not Eastern Illinois. I mean, Eastern Illinois is not even a good FCS team. It's not like you're playing North Dakota State or South Dakota State or anything like that. You're playing a 3-8 FCS team that just lost by like 14 in their last game to an FCS team. It's gonna be ugly.
He'll get to play a lot of players. That'll help in the Auburn game, I guess. And we need to play a lot of players. Alabama's got to be, I'm not worried about East Illinois. The only thing about that game worries me, you get somebody hurt. It's about the only thing that worries me about that game. Now, Auburn, you got to worry both ways. Will Auburn come out and give Alabama all they want, or to just come out and lay an egg and say, all right, just beat the hell out of us. We don't care. I don't know. It's a hard, it's just a hard game to predict. I mean, in my opinion, as good as Saban was, and we've had to play Auburn down to the wire a lot of times. I mean, Tuscaloosa and Jordan-Hare. I mean, they just get they've always had one mentality, and that's circle Alabama. They don't care anything about Mercer this weekend. They're not more thinking about Mercer than I am. They'll go out there and throw a game
hilarious if they lost to
together.
Mercer and then beat us. I mean, I'd be
yeah, exactly.
But if that happened, I mean, there's a better chance almost of Auburn losing to Mercer and beating Alabama than them beating Mercer and losing to Alabama. That is how likely that actually is. I mean, they're gonna beat Mercer. They should. Like, they have to. But I mean, again, the year that they almost beat us in 23, they lost to New Mexico State. Before. And then they literally were beating us, and then it took a 4th and 31 Jalen Milroe prayer to Isaiah Bond in the left corner to win, and for us to make the playoffs that year. Because if we had a loss that game, we wouldn't have made the playoffs. So, yeah, it's unreal. Auburn's going to show up. I mean, whatever the spread is, bet Auburn to cover. All I know. Bet Auburn to cover. It's going to go down the wire. And it sucks because Alabama's much better than them. But it don't matter because Auburn's going to play. They're going to try. They're going to do everything they can to win. They're going to play probably for them an A+ game. So we're going to have to play good. No turnovers. If you have 3 turnovers in Jordan-Hare, we're not winning.
Now you got to keep the turnover ratio. You got to get the ball from them, not turn it over to them. But I will see. It's a couple of weeks. I mean, the Texas A&M for Alabama's got to have a little help. I don't know who it might be in the SEC championship. Could wind up again Alabama and Georgia in the SEC championship. I mean,
yeah, if A&M loses to Texas, then that is possible. Which I don't even know in that scenario. Like, would Alabama rather play A&M or would they rather play Georgia? I mean, it could go either way. You could say Georgia because we own them, but Georgia's playing very good right now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if they play the way they have been playing the last 3 weeks, we will not win. But Alabama, psychologically, it's in their head that they can't beat us. So, maybe.
You never know.
A&M, I think A&M is overrated for what they are. I think A&M is very good. I think they are a very, very good football team. So when I say overrated, I'm not saying that they're not good. People go, oh my gosh, Jeffrey, what is wrong with you? I'm not saying they're not good. They are worthy of being a top 5 team. They've had a good year, but when you look at who they beat, it's not that impressive. They beat Notre Dame by 1, a game that Notre Dame choked, a game Notre Dame should have won. It's a good win, though. But then in the SEC, they have no wins against the top half of the SEC. Not one. Texas would be their best win in the SEC. If they beat them. Their best win in the SEC right now is either Missouri or LSU. And Missouri was with a third-string quarterback, and LSU gave up. So A&M has not done that much. But if they beat Texas, then they're going to be in the SEC title game. And if we beat Auburn, then we'll be there. And I think we can beat A&M. I think we can beat Georgia. I don't know which one will be better, though. Honestly, I have no idea. Because matchups, I mean, it's just if Alabama shows up. If Alabama shows up, plays well, we can beat both of them. But if we play like we did last week, we won't beat either of them. It's all on us. It's what we do. Control what we can control. We have to play a good game. We want to play playoffs. Time to lock in right now. We have to play well against Auburn and in the title game.
Be a good thing if DeBoer wins the SEC championship his second year, because it took Nick to his third year to win a SEC championship and national title. Of course, he played for the SEC championship his second year against Florida, but that would be, after all the flub ups he's had, and I mean, really and truly, when you look at it, if he does win the SEC title, might not make the playoffs. I don't know if Alabama's. They gonna really have to get their I's dotted and T's crossed to win a national championship. I'm not saying they can't, they're going to really have to go to work and go to work hard, and it's awful late in the season. So, and then no running game. Of course, you could have a breakout game anytime. Start running. The running game may go crazy against Eastern Illinois, and then you get down to Auburn, they might not be able to make a first down on the ground. I mean, I don't know, but anyway. All right, man, I'll hop off here. I know you got to go to college tomorrow, so you got to go. What time you have to go? You go all day long. You just have certain classes you take.
Oh, I only have a few. It's not that
Okay.
expensive.
Yeah.
I do have to be up at like 7 though.
All right, man. Be safe. I'll
Just
get
for
off
the
and let you-
early morning, early afternoon. But I appreciate it, Godfather.
Yeah, I'll let you get some rest. You got to go to school tomorrow. I think Jackson conked out on us. I think he was tired.
Yeah, he's a busy guy. He's doing a lot of stuff, so I don't blame him for going to bed. The Dallas game's terrible.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
So it's not worth watching that. I just like, hey, just go live talking about James Franklin tonight, right? Like it's a bigger deal than the NFL game on right now. So
I can't believe the Eagles got rid of Quentin Williams and traded him to Dallas.
crazy.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, he was a good football player. He was a good player. He was a good. I mean, I don't know. They do sometimes the NFL does some stupid stuff. And I tell you, I don't know. He may like it at Dallas. I don't know. I don't know who did. I don't even know. Did they trade for somebody? I didn't hear all of it. Did they get somebody on a trade, or did you hear?
I have no idea. Honestly, I heard about it, but I have not looked into it.
I hadn't either.
I have
I'll
no
look here.
I
I'll
have to
look in a
look
couple
into
of
it.
seconds after I get off here. All right, man. I'll hop off here. I'll see y'all. Good Lord willing, the creek don't rise. I'll see y'all Thursday night. If you and Will do the show tomorrow night, I'll be around somewhere. I'll be listening in.
That sounds great, Godfather. I appreciate it. Definitely looking forward to both shows for sure, and looking forward to definitely talking to you on Thursday night. It's always a great time for sure.
Caden, he'll show back up. It'll be the return of Caden the Diesel Freak on Alabama, the voice of college football.
He'll be
make
back.
he'll make his return. All right, man. Be safe. I'll catch y'all tomorrow night. Okay.
Appreciate it, Godfather. You have a great night. Always stay safe and stay warm. All that stuff Jackson says that he does
Exactly.
for
I
sure.
was outside a while ago. Yeah, it's got pretty cool here in Alabama tonight. Yeah, it's crazy weather. All right, man. Be safe, bro. I'll see you tomorrow night.
You too, Godfather. Appreciate it. So our last caller of the night, we've got Dr. C here, probably for a few minutes, and then I'm gonna head to bed. But how you doing tonight, Dr. C? What are your thoughts on everything going on right now, especially with James Franklin?
Well, I thought it was a home run hire, if not a grand slam. It was. I'm a Hogs fan and a Trojan fan for USC Trojan because I've lived in both states. So I'm really kind of disappointed that we didn't get James Franklin in Arkansas.
Yeah, I mean that was a possibility. Virginia Tech just seemed like it was just going to happen. You know, it was a done deal. I mean, well, Penn State it's not that far from Virginia Tech. The recruiting base is about the same. Virginia Tech supposedly again putting a lot of money into the program now to try to win, and it's in a conference that is pretty easy to win in. Arkansas is not. Arkansas, the SEC, man, is brutal. Like, I know people be like, oh, the Big Ten's, but Big Ten is good teams. Big Ten's got good teams. But the SEC from top to bottom, it is insane. It is hard to win. Very hard to win. Arkansas is not in a good place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Down there.
It's
for Franklin to take this job.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know why I just pictured Franklin at Auburn. I thought, but again, when you're in Auburn, they expect you to beat Alabama, right? Yeah. So, how realistic is that, especially with the recruiting and the history that Alabama has, right? As of recent. But I think, what was it? I think it was a great hire. So, Virginia Tech once again hires someone from Penn State because wasn't Pry the defensive coordinator at Penn State at one point?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct on that.
So they go there. So if for the Razorbacks,
Franklin has to do better than Pry. But go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say for the Razor. I know it's a Virginia Tech thing, but who do you see honestly going to Arkansas? I hear Summerall getting a lot of buzz, but I thought Franklin they would try to go. I think they're going to try to go for a home run hire, to please the fans, right? But college football has changed so much, because of NIL and the transfer portal. So, like you were saying, Indiana is now, Signetti stayed there. If this would have been 5 years ago, Signetti would be at LSU, right?
Or
So,
yeah.
so nowadays, recruiting is different, right? In the back in the day, players grew up wishing to go to the university that was in their home state, and now because of social media, they want they want the NIL deal, right? And so I think there's loyalty with the players, and I don't blame him. I don't think is going to be as much as it used to be. Loyalty to coaches, loyalty to players. It's college football is in a really is in a new era, right? And I don't know if it's good or bad, but we'll find out in the next couple of years.
I mean, it has good and bad. It's good for programs that are putting money into their programs, like Indiana.
Yeah,
Indiana is an outlier right now. I mean, it's making people mad. Like literally, Indiana has made people mad. Like there are videos about it. There are articles written about it. Indiana has made so many college football fans and fan bases mad that their program is not doing it because Indiana is not supposed to. Like Steven's doing it right now. The oh boy. Whenever I get him to say oh boy, it's like here we go. Like we're talking about a program that is the worst in college football history. That now is undefeated and number 2 in the country. Still not the best players in the world. There are still a lot of lower ranked guys, but like they still have a lot better players than they used to, and they're winning games. So every other program out there is like, why can we not do that when our history is infinitely better? Like Wisconsin right now it's just sick because like they're good, right? Alvarez, Bielema, Christ until it wasn't like good era there, a long time of success. Wisconsin's top 25-ish program all time. Indiana's like 120th all time. It's like, and Wisconsin's like, what is going on? They've got our O-line coach. They got Nowakowski, the tight end, and they're number 2 in the country where we're 3-7.
Yeah, is Wisconsin the new Nebraska?
They're not the new Nebraska just because Nebraska in their heyday was better than Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm. But as far as like what was it? I always butcher his name, Christ, right? Their coach.
Yeah,
he'd win. Yeah, he'd win 9 games, right? And it was never good enough. They'd lose to the powerhouses, and then they made the shift to Fickell, which I really thought Fickell was going to succeed there, and it's been a disaster, right?
Yeah, it's been a disaster. I mean, part of it's because he tried to modernize the offense, but he couldn't get the players. And problem too is that it goes all back to NIL, and this is what I'm saying. Like NIL is a bad thing for schools that are not doing good with NIL. Like Oklahoma State, Mike Gundy did not forget how to coach. It's not like Mike Gundy woke up one day and it was like, okay, I've suddenly have gone from winning the Big 12 to now I can't win 2 games. The reason why Mike Gundy stopped winning is because NIL kicked in and Oklahoma State did not have any.
Well, now you're seeing also Texas Tech, right? I mean, who wants to go to Lubbock?
Dominating the Big 12.
Yeah, but look at the money. I think they put something like so I've seen something like $8 million in the defensive line.
And that's a position group. Oklahoma State, I mean, I can't definitively say, but I don't think they put $8 million into their football team. And that's why they weren't winning. It's not because Mike Gundy could no longer coach anymore. It's because Mike Gundy and Oklahoma State had no NIL. I wouldn't go to Oklahoma State. The only way I would go to Oklahoma State as a head coach is if they told me, like, hey, we're putting what supposedly Virginia Tech's put in the program. Because Franklin would not have gone to Virginia Tech unless they were serious about winning. And from all accounts I've heard, Virginia Tech is putting a lot of money into their program. It's all about money now. And it's always been about money, but money's in the forefront now. Now that people like, hey, it's NIL, it's in the open. Everyone knows it now. It's not like it's under the table stuff in the past. Everyone knows that money is why these programs are winning. If you are a program that is well funded and you're up here, but your results are here, that's why these coaches are getting axed. That's why it's happening. That's why Kelly's gone and Franklin gone at Penn State, because those programs are way up there in the NIL. They're way up there. They're supposed to be going 11-1, and instead they're going 7-5, 8-4. Well, Penn State wasn't doing that until this year, but still, I mean, that's the problem. Like if you're supporting your program that heavily, they're like, where's the results? Because they feel like they're wasting money away. That's what these donors feel like. It's what these boosters feel like. Even the people that support the NIL, the fans that give. A lot of fans give too. It's like, why are we doing this? If you're, instead of giving us 12-win seasons, 11-win seasons, 10-win seasons, you're going 7-5, 6-6. And this guy over here's got less talent than you, and he's winning 11 games.
Yeah, and that's kind of like why Cignetti's kind of like the ultimate, for as of right now, the ultimate bargain, right? Because he's getting the FCS players, not like the superstars like Miami buying a quarterback, right? Or paying $8 million for the quarterback at Duke. He's getting people from, I can't even pronounce that college with an S. Yeah, and what was it? I mean, same thing with Arkansas. Pittman loses because he's the ultimate players coach, but most of his team left to Ole Miss, right? And there were players that hated Ole Miss with a passion. He said there was a player that said he hated Ole Miss growing up with a passion, and he's at Ole Miss, right? And then like his defensive the year prior, his defensive captain went from Arkansas to LSU. Supposedly the arch rival, right? And yeah, the players were very upset that they don't have money, right? So yeah, it's a weird place it's college football is it's a new era. It's a new era, right? So
and without it, Indiana would still be 3-9 every year.
Yeah, and I mean you've got Kiffin on the screen, right? Again, if this was 5 years ago, Kiffin would be going to Florida for sure.
See, look, he's making $9 million right now. The reason I put under, because I was going to talk about it with Godfather before he left. But Lane Kiffin is making $9 million a year right now. He's the 11th highest paid coach in college football. Right now, Curt Cignetti just got his contract extension again, his second extension at Indiana. He's making 11-point-something million a year. And he's the third highest paid coach in college football. All it takes is for Ole Miss to pay Lane Kiffin $2 more million a year to be in the top 5.
But I think the only thing that Lane Kiffin, if he's thinking about it, and I don't know if it's true, he said he doesn't think about money, and that might be true because he grew up, wealthy with a father that coached in the NFL since he was a kid, and he has enough money. But if he signs one of these 10-year contracts at like Florida or LSU and something doesn't quite work out because of NIL and players leaving or whatnot, he has a huge buyout, right? Mm-hmm. So he just cashes it in as opposed to the 4-year limit that Ole Miss would give him, right?
Yeah, the 4-year limit thing is ridiculous. Honestly, that is like if Lane leaves and it's because like that's the main reason, then that's just terrible. Because like you have got one of the best coaches in college football.
History. Yeah.
You've got Ole Miss in that level, man. Like they're right behind the elite. Like they're pushing on the elite, right? They're right there. And it's like you lose him not because of money itself, not because of Lane doesn't think he could maybe win a championship at Ole Miss. It's because of a contract year limit. That is terrible. Because Ole Miss is never going to get another coach like this.
No. And I've been following.
If they lose them, it's over. Like Cignetti. If Cignetti left IU, Indiana would have gone back to the dumps.
It was Lane Kiffin. I've followed Lane Kiffin since I was, grew up in California as well. USC, since he's been a coach there, and the guy was just 5 steps ahead of everyone when it comes to recruiting. Like the Al video, do you remember the FAU video?
Mm-hmm.
The worst video in the world, but he did it on purpose so everyone would talk about it, right? And he said,
I mean,
did it on.
He's one of the most. Sorry to interrupt, but like he's one of the most most followed people in college football, like the coaches. Like he's got
absolutely, yeah.
Like he's people. He's always in the news for something.
Yeah.
Something that he does, says. He's way more known than almost any other college football coach. But go ahead.
Yeah, no. So Kiffin from created that terrible video. And they talked about it for 3 or 4 days, and he said that's why I did it, because no one would talk about FAU on ESPN until something like this. And he would tell this. He told this story. You can look it up on YouTube, where he made a fake story about Florida and recruiting, and it was such a great story, but it wasn't even true, right? And Lane Kiffin was like I said, 10 steps ahead. This guy's thinking 5-10 steps ahead of everyone else. Recruiting, play calling, drawing up offenses. He brought Alabama to the modern game, right? Because if you look at that 2010 Alabama, they were still playing old school smash mouth, but he evolved that offense. Yeah, the guy's the greatest coach. I'd say only Kirby maybe has we can put him up there, but yeah, this guy's the best coach in college football, maybe aside Kirby. And Cignetti might be right behind, right? But Lane is that guy with a proven track record. Yeah, there's no way they can't sign him, let him go. But I think at the end of the day, like everything, money will talk.
Yeah, it does for sure, and I think Ole Miss can give him the amount per year, but it's that contract thing, the year limit. We'll see what happens. All I know is I've had everybody telling me that I'm crazy for saying he should stay at Ole Miss, though. They're like, Jeffrey's got to go to LSU, win a national championship. I don't know. I just think that he should stay where he's at. I'm going to keep sticking to it until I'm proven wrong, because I feel like there's a better chance that Lane Kiffin gets fired at LSU than has elite success and the fans love him. Because even if you want a title and then 2 years later, a couple not as good seasons, he'll get fired like Ed O. I mean, that's how insane their expectations are. But again, like you said, if he got fired at LSU, though, then he's set for life. I mean, he's already rich anyway, but it's just, you're in the Jimbo camp where you've got like $100 million now, and you're just, I mean, whatever. I don't know. Like, the fans love him at Ole Miss. He won't have the same fan support at LSU unless he wins them a couple national titles. Like, the Ole Miss fans love him.
Yeah. Well, USC is right now has the number one recruiting class coming in. And before that, prior to that, they were always like in the 10, 11 range, if I recall precisely. But they hired this marketing NIL genius team, right? Like the all-stars of Southern California. And now they pumped them up to number one, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Something rubs me the wrong way about that. Which, Southern California has, and I know a lot of people don't know this. Southern California has probably the best high school football in the country. Actually, just a couple of weeks ago, 5 of the top 10 teams were in California. Mater Dei, Centennial. The Mater Dei can go toe-to-toe with anyone. Don Bosco Prep, who came here. I live in Texas now. They came here. They actually got banned because they came down here and beat Allen, Texas. It's a powerhouse, like 55-7 or something like that. So after the game, they banned the team. Yeah. Southern, and what was it, 3 or 4 years ago when 4 of the 5 Heisman finalists were from Southern California. So Southern California is going to lead. So USC could have recruited just Southern California and stayed relevant. Unfortunately, through bad hiring of coaches, That didn't happen until now. They have these a marketing team, NIL, and they're number one. So we'll see about I think USC being a powerhouse on the West Coast, that's good for football and for the Big Ten now. Well, hold on. Yeah, I know you got to go, but I heard USC and Michigan are leaving the Big Ten.
I mean, at this point, nothing's surprising. but yeah, I mean, that would be insane. I mean, why? Like, why would you? I mean, the Big Ten's loaded with money. That would be insane. Terrible move. I mean, as much as I say, Lane, don't leave Ole Miss, Michigan and USC leaving the Big Ten would be just the dumbest thing. Like,
well, USC killed the Pac-12.
Yeah.
So I don't think they killed the Big Ten, but that would be a huge for Michigan and USC mainly Michigan because of the tradition, Ohio State and whatnot, to become independents. That tells you that there's a lot of trouble in the background. So we'll see what happens there.
Well, I mean, if they did that, they'd have a lot of pull, like.
Oh yeah.
Notre Dame.
They'd be Notre Dame, yeah. They'd be
still just don't think it would make sense to do that though.
Yeah, especially it's weird that USC. Well, I can see USC they just joined, which is weird, but Michigan haven't been part of the Big Ten, maybe since the start, right? Interesting times.
I can guarantee you that if that happens, I'll be live for that.
Yeah, there you go. I'll call in as well. Hey man, thanks for all your time. I really appreciate your time, and you always have fantastic takes. I think they're super reasonable, and yeah, definitely. What was it? Good luck to Indiana the rest of the season.
Thanks, absolutely. I hope Indiana can make a run at it. We'll see. I mean, I don't think there'll be a national championship, like going all the way, but hopefully they do at least win a game or two in the playoffs. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I think they're a really good team. I've got Ohio State winning it all, but I think Indiana.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, Indiana's a very good team. So it'll be fun seeing them in a playoff, whoever that is, whether they play Alabama, whether they play whoever makes it in, it'll be fun.
For sure. I can't wait.
I bet, man. It's been a long time for y'all. All right, man.
Absolutely.
Have a great rest of your evening.
You too, Dr. C. I appreciate it. You have a great night. Always great talking to you.
Thanks. Take care. Bye.
But that's going to wrap up the show. It's been a great hour and a half talking about James Franklin, Lane Kiffin. I knew we'd talk about all these topics. It was going to be a lot of fun for sure, but definitely James Franklin to Virginia Tech, good hire for the Hokies. They made the right decision there. Still think Lane should stay at Ole Miss. We'll see what happens with that. Wherever that situation ends up going, I'm sure I'll be live for that as well, at least at a quick emergency stream or make a video on it. But definitely, there's a lot going on in college football right now. College basketball starting to ramp up. The NFL is going on. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on, so can't wait to cover it. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate it, Stephen Cherry. Appreciate all of you guys. You guys are the best. Caden, he's a troll, we know, but appreciate him as well and the support he's given to the channel too. But do appreciate you guys, and I definitely will see you maybe tomorrow with me and Will and D doing our college football predictions. That will be a ton of fun as well. But thanks for coming on the emergency stream, and big news with Franklin, Virginia Tech, and I'm sure there'll be many more emergency streams as we have a lot more breaking news going on in college football, especially with the coaching carousel. But you guys have a great night. Appreciate everybody.